Hi, Gerhard Bloom, once again looking at the tyranny and the delusions of the social justice movement. So woke Marxists think that they can hold hands with these Muslim radicals, these people, this community that's on a jihad, an absolute jihad. In case you didn't know, Islam is inherently expansionist. That's right. You know, Christ, a poor prophet in sandals, preaching forgiveness and peace, understanding and loving your enemy. Muhammad, if you believe him, and I don't, he was allegedly given the duty of spreading the word of God by the sword, and that's what he did. Millions of people were slaughtered. He had sex slaves. He beheaded thousands. That's right. He had a child bride, married Aisha. When she was 6, consummated this domestic slavery, aka a marriage, when this girl was 9. Yeah, this is Islam. You want to know why ISIS had sex slaves? Finished an excellent book by a Yazidi woman, a young woman who had been sold and traded into sexual slavery under ISIS and thousands of other Yazidis. Why? They were following the example of Muhammad. Why do you think that Hamas and its killers could feel justified and entitled to engage in mass rapes and sexual mutilations, right? Why exactly is that? Time and time again, following the example of Muhammad. It is legal in Islam. And yeah, college campuses now, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. You know what's in between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea? That is Israel, and yeah, little wedge of Gaza, and yeah, the West Bank. They want the people of Israel wiped off the map, and Hamas proved that on the October 7th attack. They're pointing the accusing finger at Israel, calling it a genocide, No, the population of Palestinians in that area has multiplied 5 times. And no, there's no genocide in Gaza. It's hysterical nonsense. College campuses. Now, you know, you've got these leftist, queers for Palestine. Well, what about Palestine for queers, right? They should go over to the West Bank and Gaza and, you know, offer their full-throated supports. We'll see how much the Palestinians are for queers, right? Yeah, the queers are for Palestine. Doesn't work the other way around. Here's an example, a recent speech at George Washington University. You know, its radical encampment, you know, endorsing a genocidal regime that is Hamas and those poor suffering Palestinians. I've told you this before. Check my other videos. The oppression Palestinians suffer is Islam. So that speaking at the George Washington University's encampment, the executive director for American Muslims for Palestine, he goes on to say, we will take back America, just like we will take back Palestine. Assalamu alaikum, right? Protesters will change America forever. I don't know what the hell he means by take back America. He's playing in, as you know, he goes on and on, prattling on about, you know, the United States being a Zionist and colonial enterprise, just like Israel, except it's a lie. They know they are going against a force of history. They are trying to destroy you. Before you succeed in bringing this imperialism to an end, you will be the past. Speaking of America and Israel, we are the future. I hope not. We see, and across Europe, mass protests, vast majority Muslims, radical Muslims. And Islam is spreading like a cancer throughout Western Europe. And fortunately, people are starting to stand up. But the governments there, they're too cowardly. Why? Because the Muslims are now such a large voting bloc that they don't want to alienate the Muslim voter. So they are willing to trade their civilization, Western civilization, to the cancer that is Islam. And imperialism. Here's a fact. Not a square piece of earth in Israel before 1948 was stolen from the Palestinians. That's right. everybody in that region was considered Palestinian, right? Because the British Protectorate, it was Palestine, right? British Protectorate, Jews in the region were considered Palestinian, right? Palestinian Jews. So at any rate, Jews in the 1920s started buying up real estate in what later became Israel, in the region. They cleared swamps, malarial swamps, removed rocks and cleared soils, planted trees, planted agriculture, brought in modern farming. They weren't imperialists. You want to talk about imperialism? Look at the age of Islamic expansion, right? Syria, Lebanon, Jordan. Islam started in Saudi Arabia, Mecca and Medina, and then spread outwards. Yep, captured. It held most of Spain for 700 years until they were finally driven out. In India, and we see the mess that the Muslims are causing in India, mass slaughters and torture, and the separation between India into Pakistan, mass slaughtering, and yes, on both sides. Syria, Egypt, many countries in Africa under the yoke of Muslim tyranny. Everywhere Islam goes, you have beheading, sawing off of limbs, absolute brutal atrocities, a 1400-year horror show. And Muslims want to point the accusing finger of imperialism? Absolutely not. They are deluded. And they had better not be the future, because that future would be very bleak indeed. Look around the Islamic world, and what do you see? You see tyranny, or you see brutal dictatorships trying to keep the country in line and from falling to absolute brutal Islamic tyranny. Anyways, thanks so much for your time and attention. Drop a thumbs up if you liked the video. Gratifies my fragile male ego. Do check out my book, Deconstructing Social Justice. It's available on Amazon. I promise you, it's important. Not because I wrote it because the issues could not be more important. Thanks so much for your time and attention. Bye-bye now.